Hi, hello, welcome. My name is Ben, and on this channel we talk about books and reading. And with a new year upon us, I've been giving some thought to what I want to get out of my reading in 2025. I thought it might be fun just to share where I'm headed with some of my reading goals. Last year I didn't set any particular reading goals, or at least not ones that I remember possible. There are some that I've mentioned on the channel and never really stuck to. And I did have a very good reading year. I read some fantastic books, some that have become instant all-time favourites. But having said that, I have sometimes felt a little directionless with my reading, like being pulled along by certain prize lists that I get overexcited about. And I've also now and again felt a little overwhelmed by some of the things I've been trying to do with my reading and with the channel, things that aren't necessarily feasible, like trying to read certain things in certain time frames for, I don't know, like a prize date or getting a video out in time for something. And I just don't want to get burned out because I love reading, I love making videos for this channel, and I don't want it to be a source of stress when it should be a source of joy. So I have set myself a number of goals for the coming year, things to just help me read with some intention. In some ways, I do feel it's a bit silly to set goals around a hobby because it brings it closer to being work. And I don't want reading to start feeling like a job because I already have a job and I don't think I could mentally or physically handle a second one. But some loose intentions, which I will not be punishing myself for not sticking to, I think those could help me to maximise the joy that I get from reading in 2025. I've got some reading goals and some channel goals, and I'm going to start with the reading ones. There are 6 reading goals here, which is probably too many, but I do think some of them kind of come together, and it's mainly things that I can think about all at once when I'm deciding what to read next. It's not like 6 challenges and I have to tick things off. My first goal is just to read fewer books. So at the time of filming this video, I read 101 books in 2024. I may finish one more before the end of the year, but that's sort of where I'm going to end up. I didn't really intend to read that many books, and I don't see any special virtue in it. Whether you read 10 books in a year or 150 books in a year, the purpose of reading is enjoyment or learning or both. So if you are doing those things, you are winning. And if you are not, well, you're probably in some race that no one else really cares about and that you're not going to get any medals for. Unless you are in some competitive reading situation, in which case you have my full support. For me, in 2024, I sort of sleepwalked into reading that many books. It is not normal for me. I'm not a fast reader. And trying to read fast typically massively impacts my comprehension and enjoyment for sure. But over the course of the year, I was kind of on track to read that many. And I think subconsciously, because humans are very goal-orientated beings, I found myself just picking up shorter books. Still books that I wanted to read, and many of which turned out to be really, really good. But when I had a choice between like a long book and a short book, I was drifting towards the shorter ones just because I knew it would help me come close to this sort of mythical goal of 100 books. So I want to not read that many books in 2025. If I'm here in a year's time saying I've read 100 books again, you have my full permission to tell me off. You can leave a negative comment or something. Don't dox me. Let's keep everyone safe here. But yeah, do let me know if I've made a boo-boo. That first one is a kind of overarching goal that I think supports some of these other goals, because my second goal is to read bigger books. I really love reading big books. I think there is a special type of pleasure in spending so much time with a story or with a set of characters that you just can't get from short books, even if they're really fantastic short books, because those have a very different type of pleasure and incisiveness in their storytelling. I didn't read that many long books in 2023, but they did all somehow end up on my top books of the year list. And then in my 2024 best books of the year, I didn't have any long books really because I just didn't read that many. That is going to change in 2025 because I want to make a concerted effort to pick up longer books. I have loads of big books on my shelves. I actually have a dedicated shelf for big tome-like books, which I'll show you if I can remember to get some footage of it. I have read some of these that you'll see, but lots of them I have not, and I really want to read them and I'm very excited about, and this is me just giving myself a kick up the arse to pick them up. And who knows, by the end of the year maybe I'll have massive biceps because I've been pumping those chunksters. That did not sound as weird in my head as it did out loud. I'm not sure if that's a safe for work phrase. My next goal is that I am going to really try and read more classics in the coming year. I am very well aware that I am terrible at reading classics. I read a few in 2024, which was better than the year before, but still not as many as I'd like. I don't have any ambitions to like pivot all of my reading or this channel into classics though. I do love contemporary literary fiction, that is my jam, but these older works have endured for a reason, and I actually think it's very useful and important to be familiar with literary touchstones because it can make you, I don't know, see their influence on modern work. It can allow you to make connections that you might not otherwise make. I'm going to put this down because I do have some books to show you, because some of the books that I would like to read do kind of dovetail nicely with my big book ambitions, such as Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man or Steinbeck's East of Eden. I'd also be interested in picking up Grapes of Wrath, or this big chunkster, Tolstoy's Anna Karenina, and this beautiful edition, which is lovely and floppy, so I think it might actually be a bit of a joy to read. Other ones though are just normal length books that I have no excuse for not reading, and there are even some proper shorties on my shelves that I should get to, like Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart and Anthony Burgess's A Clockwork Orange. Like, those are all books that I'd love to say I have read and understood and enjoyed, but I haven't as of right now, so maybe that will be very different in 12 months' time. On a similar note, I want to improve the balance in my reading between new release books and backlist books. I get so drawn in by new, exciting books, and I'm actually sick of myself for buying hardbacks and then not reading them until after the paperback has come out. It is silly and wasteful, and it is not my responsibility to prop up the publishing industry, wasting my money like that. I also just think that new books are, by definition, much more untested. It's more of a coin flip whether a new release is going to be worth my time than a book that's come out 10 years ago and has been accepted as a really good book. Something that has endured and worth people still turning to. So I need to start rigging those coin flips in my favour a little bit more. A few examples that are high up in my priorities, at least if you were to ask me right now which ones I want to read, include Trumpet by Jackie Kay, Lost Children Archive by Valeria Luiselli, Salvage the Bones by Jesmyn Ward. I still have not read any Jesmyn Ward. And then there are like buzzy books that everyone has talked about a lot. They seem to be in like the canon of booktube. Things like The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is a very beautiful edition and I want to read it. But yeah, I've got loads more that I need to read, and I should start ticking those off, reading from my shelves, rather than getting excited about a brand new book that's come out that I think maybe will have a chance at being on the Booker and I'll be ahead of the curve. I need to give up on that. My fifth goal is to read more Booker winners. If you have been subscribed to this channel for any amount of time, you will know I'm a big fan of the Booker Prize. I do love getting into all the speculation about the runners and riders, and for the last few years I've read the entire long list. But my fandom of the prize is actually a pretty recent thing. I think it was the 2021 prize that really ignited my enjoyment and excitement when both Bewilderment by Richard Powers and The Promise by Damon Galgut were on the shortlist. Two books that I absolutely adore. What that means is that I haven't actually read that many winners of the prize. It's been going for like 60 years nearly, and I've only read 7 of the winners. I want to change that in 2025 and I want to read more Booker winners. So my challenge to myself is to read 1 per month, because that could keep me going for years. I do have a bunch on my shelves already, so it's not an access issue, it's just a TBR and prioritization issue, and I want to keep this goal front of mind when choosing what to read each month. My final reading goal is, of course, to complete the Read Good Challenge. I loved doing this in 2024 and I was like an excitable child putting together the prompts for 2025. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, this is a challenge that I host where there are monthly prompts I've put together just to have a bit of fun with choosing what to read each month. So as an example, one of the prompts is that January is Annuary and you need to read a book written by someone called Anne or a book with Anne in the title. All of the prompts are super flexible and it can work quite well with other challenges that you might be doing. If you're at all interested, I would love for you to join in with the challenge. I will link to the video and Storygraph challenge in the description. I think on the Storygraph we've got nearly 400 people who have already joined the challenge, which is incredible and frankly a little bit mind-blowing, and I'm so excited to get cracking with the prompts. Okay, those are all the reading goals, and we'll move on to some channel goals now. And I'll be honest, these are a little bit more like vulnerable in a way. It still feels weird to talk about the channel at all. Its mere existence is still somewhat of a surprise to me, but I do still want to talk about them because vulnerability is not a bad thing. So my first channel goal is that I just want to change the way that I engage with and think about what I read, and I guess specifically when I think about what I read. I often will wait until I need to do a wrap-up video and then I'll write all my reviews. And it's become a bit of a burden. So I want to make sure that I am writing my reviews immediately after reading the book. I want to take the time to digest what I've read and write up my thoughts. And also give myself permission just to not review a book if I don't want to, if I don't feel engaged or moved to talk about it. Because the truth is, I am feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the pressure to have something insightful to say about everything I read. I really, really appreciate the feedback that you enjoy my reviews. It's really nice when I get a comment that says that my review is thoughtful and that I've said something that has made you think about a book in a different way that you hadn't before. But basically, I have gotten to a point where I have been letting them build up and it is just an albatross around my neck. And the longer I leave it, the less I remember about a book, because I'm not an annotator and I'm not a tabber. I literally have to flip through an unmarked book to double check plot points if I've forgotten something. And having something hang over you is just not a nice feeling. I do this channel because it is a fun hobby for me and I don't want not nice things to be a part of that. So what I need to do, I think, is to make sure I am writing up my thoughts and reviews immediately after finishing each book. There are obviously things that need to percolate, things that might develop over time, but I reckon I can get 80% of my thoughts down right away. Because reviews are important to me. I want to keep doing them. I like having that space to think about a book and how it's challenged my thinking and the way that I observe the world. And the risk is, if it becomes not fun, if it becomes a chore, I may end up just not reviewing stuff. So that's a hopefully vaguely coherent first goal. My second goal is to bring back my book news videos in a sustainable way. So book news videos have had really great feedback from all of you, but they are a lot of work. They are more work than my other videos. And between them and wrap-ups, that's half of my content every month. I do not think the answer is more videos because I just don't have the capacity for it. I am not a natural at talking to the camera and making my videos. I think, based on my discussions with other creators, takes me a lot more time. And at the end of the day, it is just a hobby alongside my full-time job. More than one video a week is not something I am going to be able to deliver on, so I don't even want to attempt it. But yeah, with weekly videos and 2 videos per month spoken for, it just leaves very little space in my calendar for other interesting things that I'd like to do. So book news will be back. I'm aiming to get the first one of the new year out at the start of February, but I would love to hear from you if you have any suggestions about how I can make it a bit easier on my time. If there are any parts of the book news videos that you are not interested in, or ones that you are really, really interested in that are important to you, please do let me know. Finally, I have a goal around subscriber numbers, and I know that you are supposed to be coquettish and not care about the numbers, and you're supposed to be continually surprised when good things happen. But I think everyone cares a little bit about the numbers, otherwise nobody would celebrate milestones. And in my experience so far, unless you are really, really, really lucky, reaching a wider audience requires a lot of hard work and effort. And even then, it can be a bit of a roll of the dice, because there are fantastic creators out there who I really enjoy the content of, who deserve a much wider audience and just don't get it that easily. All of that is to say that subscribers is just a vanity metric at the end of the day, but milestones are motivating, and I'd love to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. It feels ludicrous, really, to even say that and it not be some fanciful, outlandish thing. If you would have said that to me when I started the channel a couple of years ago, I would have probably laughed nervously and then backed away. But somehow it is something that is possible, and I find that really exciting. I also want this to happen without sacrificing any of the intimacy of this channel. I think you can generally tell if the intimacy has been lost on a channel if you see the comments all written in the third person about the creator rather than being addressed to the creator. Ideally, I don't want that to happen here. I strive to reply to every comment, and I really love the conversations that we have, and it feels important to me to try and maintain that for as long as I can. If I do somehow get to 10k this year, I think it will be time for another Q&A, because I haven't done one since, I think, 2,000 subscribers, which was a while ago now. But yeah, every single one of you who is subscribed to the channel is contributing to this goal, and I really appreciate it. And if you do want to share this channel and give some other people a nudge to subscribe, I would be massively grateful. So those are my reading and channel goals for 2025. I'm hoping to stick to them, although I do have a vlog idea for right at the start of the year that is going to go against some of these goals immediately. So yeah, you may all think, what is this psycho doing? Whether I actually do that or not, We'll see, but you will know either way within like a week of January. I would love to hear from you down in the comments. If you have any reading goals for 2025, do share all of those juicy metrics that you'll be chasing in the coming year. If you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up because it really helps the channel out. And if you are new and this is your first time viewing me and you'd like to stick around, then hit the subscribe button and I release a new video about once a week. But until next time, toodles.